You
Hi,
want to
Sharon.
show me your bus?
I do. I'm Randy, and this is my wife, Shelly, and our name is Knapp.
Yes. So it's kind of funny when we came up with the name, our original business name, Rainey and I were self-employed artists. We used to make kaleidoscopes for a living, and we did that for 31 years. But our business was named Knapp Studios. So we were known as Knapp Studios for years. And when it came time to switch and do the bus life, I wanted to come up with something catchy. And I kept telling him, you know, this is our time now. We've done the kaleidoscopes. Now it's our time to go have fun and do something for us. And that's how we came up with the name Knapp. Or I should say, I came up with the name Knapp Time.
Basically, the reason that we started doing this is we've been doing kaleidoscopes for 31 years. We had a great life doing that. It was wonderful. We made lots of friends. We traveled.
We were very blessed.
Yeah, we had a really great time doing that. We were both getting body fatigue, repetitive motion injuries on our bodies. We were getting physical therapy. And she basically came to me one day and said, hey, I don't want to do this anymore.
I'm getting tired.
I've had enough of this. I want to try.
There's got to be something more out there to life than just standing in a machine day after day. You know, Randy got on YouTube and started looking at videos, and he stumbled onto school bus conversions, you guys, and our whole life shifted. It was, he came to me and goes,
well, that Wes at Transcend Existence
yeah,
was a troublemaker. That guy caused me all kinds of problems.
he showed me one of the first videos of a bus converted, and I'm like, you want to live in a school bus? And I couldn't wrap my head around it at first, and still, until I started seeing the videos out there of what it looked like when it was finished. And then I went, we could do this. And he came to me and said, we can make it our own. We can do what we want to do with it that would fit our lifestyle.
So this bus is a 2004 Thomas Safety Liner. It's a full 40-footer. It has a 8.3 Cummins engine and a Allison 3060 transmission. Right now you're standing up there in the front where we took out the hard plastic mats on the floor. And we just went to Home Depot and bought those rock door mats, and we cut them into pieces and they just lay in there. So if you want to clean them and stuff, you can just pull those babies out. Power wash them if you want. And then as you come in, you're going to hit the first roof raise. From here, we went up 16 inches with the roof raise. And put the skylights up there, which are laminated safety glass. And we took the roof metal, like this stuff here, and we repurposed it and made the transitions and stuff to come back for the roof raise part, or for the transition area here. And then one of the things I get asked all the time is about this. This is just that white rigid foam, and we just cut it, sculpted it with the router, and we textured it and painted it. So that kind of baffles people sometimes what that is. Regular house windows, but they're not standard house windows, so this confuses people too. They're like, oh, you can't have house windows with regular glass, but we ordered these windows with tempered glass in them. So they got tempered safety glass in them, so they meet the safety standards for being on the road. And the other windows that also are in the door and in this side right here are laminated safety glass. We actually cut those little doors and added them in so that we could open those up and tuck stuff in the header up there. And that main hatchway, that's our Wi-Fi, WeBoost Wi-Fi antenna, but that hatch will still open up and you can still stow stuff in there. We got a 4-camera rear view camera system, but I only use 2 of them. I have one of them right on the hitch of the tow pickup, and I have the other one showing the pickup in behind it. This is drinks for 6, dinner for 4, bed for 2. Yeah. This is a twin size bed. So this guy, we just use these bolsters. We planted this couch bed thing first. We built this in here first, and then we built this cabinet back to it. And you've got your twin, this is just a twin size mattress that we had the upholstery guy covered it for us. But we have that so that it hinges up. Then this side, this is the first integration of a clounger. So it's a couch. Right now it's a couch. And now it's a lounger. Guy here underneath it, this is just built like a swimming pool lounger, you know? So this thing will swing out and you can pick your angle. But then there's the diesel heater down there. That works super awesome. We love that thing. You know why the reason this is metal is because it was so easy. Once those guys taught me how to cut it and bend it, it was so easy to just bend the top for this, and this top will just pick up off of there. So you can pick that up and off, but you can also slide it forward and you can access a plug-in and electronic crap back there, and then when you're done, just slide that back. Why we went with these thin baskets is they're only an 1/8 inch thick versus 3/4, so you get more width, more height, and it's deep enough. There's 2 of them in here. This chair for Shelly will pivot around. So when we get ready to go, what do we have to do? We pull that forward, turn this guy, then we bring that back, and she's ready to go. And as we came back here, there's the first fender well. And that one over there, of course, is under the couch. So Shelly came up with this idea because I was like, oh, I'm going to build a cabinet. I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. And she said, you know, in the bedroom up there, you got a nightstand that'll fit right there. So we put the Craig jig screw pocket holes in it, screwed it to the floor. And then underneath here, there's a little screw hole that locks that drawer in place. Pull these chairs out and that table will fold down to the wall. That's all working great. And this is a propane fireplace. So it's a direct vent, and basically what that means is the flame inside is going out through a 1-inch pipe and fresh air is coming back in the other way. So there's no humidity put into the cabin from this heater. So it's just has a high and low flame and high and low on the fan. And you get to sit there and watch the fire burn. So the reason that I did that is I wanted redundant systems in here. So if the diesel heater gives us trouble and we can't get any heat out of that till we get it fixed, we can just fall back on this guy. And everything that we put in here, including the house windows, if I did have a problem and need to change those out, these moldings pop off and those windows will be, you can rip them back out this way and push a new one back in. They're installed backwards so that they're not sticking out to get rubbed on. Same with this kitchen sink. This whole wooden top, the whole thing will unbolt here on the side and you can pick it off and pull it out if you ever have to do repair work on it. So we basically put the fridge in place first and then built this cabinet up to it. Used stock cabinets underneath, but we reinforced those before we installed them. And then we put fillers, built fillers in between. So we did the big sink because we're artsy craftsy people, and we can put the plastic tray in there and do the dishes. There's your strainer, but if you're gonna do some tie-dye or fun stuff, you know, you've got the huge sink. Over to the fridge, we bought a regular 10 cubic feet house fridge, and we found, thanks to Aaron Bockley, we got a high energy efficiency one. The thing that I hated though was I don't like to bend over to get the stuff out, so we built this pantry drawer underneath, so we got all that stuff under there. And then the beautiful part of it is that I don't have to bend over so far. These are just stock Home Depot cabinets that we plotted out, the ones that fit here properly. We went with stock Formica countertops because we didn't want to add the weight of tile. The other part of it was we wanted it done. The time clock was kind of starting to click a little bit. Let's do this, and if it gets worn out or whatever, again, we installed it so we can unscrew it, pop this out, and throw another one back in. We took out the cheap hardware and we put in the heavy-duty full extension drawer slides on all the drawers. I call it an apartment size range. It is a residential range. It's got to be careful how big a pizza you buy to cook it in there. And then the gap that we had over here on the side, we did the same thing. We just built a filler cabinet, and she's got cookie sheets and cutting boards. Okay, so actually I built this door just to close the opening up. I originally just threw this thing together, but as the project evolved, we just kept working on it, and pretty soon this was the finished door. So these are just closet hardware. We just took the rollers off of closets and just split the rail with the slitter disc and screwed them up there and put the closet rollers on these sliders. And we got the little cork boards here for artwork and notes and whatever. Okay, so this is the main food pantry, and this is all Shelly's design, because all the wood in here, people go, where did you get this wood? Well, we got it on the Oregon coast where we lived, and we brought what we had left over that we couldn't part with that we thought we might be able to use. Come down to the end, because this was more toward the end, then she came up with, so the stripes are artistic and I love it, but they're there because there weren't no boards big enough to make those anymore. She had to be creative to piece this together to get all these to work. So yeah, these things are awesome. I mean, we love it. So this is the bathroom. And so we basically went with the galley style because it made the most efficient use of the room. And then I wanted all of my electronics where I could access them and see what was happening, and where they could breathe. So that's why I put all the electronics right here midship. The battery bank is right here, right beside the bathroom toilet. So there's a 6-pack of Battleborn lithium batteries in there. You know, all the geeks will know what that stuff is. That's a whole different video there. But thank God for Aaron Bockley, because you need to pay that guy if you ask for help. I mean, come on, seriously. But to ask a guy to help you with a project like this took hours, and I was more than happy to pay him a consulting fee, and he was worth every penny that I paid him. I designed and installed this stuff all myself. I mean, Shelly helped me. We were up there we did our own MC4 connectors and everything. Thanks to Aaron, we made it through all this, and it's working beautifully. Having the fantastic fan was plotted out because if all this stuff's getting hot, I can put this on low and just help, you know, pull that hot air out of here. Window in the shower, the same theory. You're gonna get, or I should say for us, we've experienced more humidity in a space like this than you want. So having this be midship seemed like a great spot for it. And then in the shower, we really wanted to get creative and put this tile and that tile and blah, blah, blah. But the reality of it is, I think there's a lot of potential for problems with tile going down the road, and it's heavy. And so we just went with this pre-made fiberglass stall. And then another sliding door over here. This is my favorite part back here. I call this the great room. And that table there pops up. Okay, so this, without the locking bolts, this was a toe operation. See, you could just go like that and you could unlock it with your toes. That was my thing. I didn't have to get down there. And then you could just pop this up. Art studio. But the other thing that Shelly is very faithful yoga practitioner. So she needs a place to do yoga. Yoga studio, table up, art studio, and then bedtime. The other thing that we really didn't want to do is not be able to walk around the bed. Shelly told me, I really don't want to have to crawl over you to get into bed, and I don't want to have to crawl on the bed to make the bed. And so that is why the bus has the second roof transition, the second roof raise. I wouldn't have raised the roof for the second bump, except now that you see this bed come down, that's just as high, it's just barely high enough for this bed to clear. So I literally figured out the bed and then raised it just high enough to clear it. And the other thing that's awesome is the skylights. You can lay in bed and you can see the stars. When you get up at night, you can look out and see where the constellations are and kind of get a gauge on what time of night it is. So we basically travel down the road with it up because it's less stress on the table and it seems like it's smarter. And then she usually puts a pad down and puts stuff on the floor of it. But over here on the sides, we both have most of our daily use clothing is in these baskets on the side. And then when we travel, we just bungee cord that. Our yoga mats and our blocks and everything go under there. Up here in this corner, another TV, the mini split. This thing is awesome for cooling, but it's pretty useless as a heater unless it's just mildly cold. We're not liking it as a heater. We love it as an air conditioner. Another table up here in the corner, and it'll drop down to the wall. When we drop this down to the wall, we can put the big table in here and put 6 people back here around the table, which is another thing we wanted because we've always loved to entertain and have groups of people come. So it's another reason it's called the Great Room. And then this door here, she wanted a sliding or a full-length mirror, so I put it on the back of this door. You know, we got windows on both sides so we can cross-ventilate the bedroom. And over here we got the door to the outside. We do have steps for that door, and they just clip onto the side of the bus. But tested the steps, and we didn't hardly ever use them, so we left them at the farm for now. But if you had to, I could jump that far. If this bus is on fire, I'm jumping that far easy. We recycled these windows that were in the side of the bus. So those are the old bus windows. We just cut them down and put them in this door that we made. This is a great story. This came to be because I went to Joe and I said, dude, that plastic hatch is crap. And it was a pretty new one. I think those things are like $500. It was pretty new. But I didn't like it. And so Joe said, oh, Randy, just bend up some metal and weld it. And he got down with the little chalk thing and he drew this out for me. And I go, how are we going to make it close? And he goes, like a submarine hatch. And the funniest thing is, Chris at the shop there's into boat racing, and these are piston parts off of a boat racing motor. And this is the other part to go onto the cam thing, I think. I don't know, the motor guys will know what them are. But anyhow, I love this now that it's all done, because you just loosen that and you can let that loose. And then I was up there one day and the wind came up and I thought, man, if that thing ever falls on you, you could lose a hand or a head or whatever. It's fairly heavy. So I built this thing, which acts as it had stops when it held open, you know. But if the wind blew it hard and it went over, you could really get hurt. So this locks it in place. And it acts as a handrail when you go up there. So we're up on the top now, and Shelly likes to call this the deck. I call it the maintenance walkway, people, and you better be careful what you tell your insurance. Yours is too. So this is my maintenance walkway. I can get up here and I can wash my panels. So I forgot to tell you when we were down below, we got 12 100-watt panels up here. 5 down each side, 2 kickers on the back, because when I got all done, Aaron told me, Randy, you're 2 panels short of being really in balance with this system. So I just put them back there. And it's perfect. You put wood on the top of your project and you paint it. When the paint comes off, which it will, it's going to run down the side of your bus. So this is all natural, unpainted. And no, I'm not putting clarywood finish, linseed oil, tung oil, Danish oil, butternut oil, walnut oil, or anything else on here. It's natural redwood, people. It's beautiful. It'll last longer than me. So that's what I did here. So I built a 7-gallon fuel tank for the diesel heater, because if you look right here, this is where I had that plastic one that comes with it bolted, and it kept collapsing. I had problems with the breather valve on it. It'd get in suction and it would collapse it. So this is a vented lid, so it lets air in and lets air out. Super handy. That's the exhaust for the diesel heater. This is my completely functioning emergency opening door now to those beautiful new fuse panels that we just got at Tony and Joe's. So the reason this bus is called Miss Mary is Shelley believes in guardian angels and hers is Mary. So just in honor of you know, all the work that Mary's put in taking care of Shelley, we named the bus after her. Randy Hart, Shelley Knapp, Randy Hart. That's how we always signed our kaleidoscopes. I'm gonna get Thad the Nomad, this dude here. That guy can make all this stuff for you. He's on the road. All right, so the main entry door to the bus here, we took out the bifold doors and we just welded up a 1x3 frame and put the pivot hardware off of the old bifold door onto this door, skinned it with the stainless, and I went after it with the grinder. I was having a great time. Shelley comes and looks at it and she's all like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "This is fun. Look, I'm just putting stuff on here." So she wasn't super excited about it, but by the time I got done, she thought it was okay. And then she said, "Hey, I want to try it now." So she did the whole inside. This is all Shelley's scribbling in here. And these are just bathroom handrails, but they were the stainless. So, and I watched people come out the door and saw where they were going to hit or where they were grabbing for it, and that's when these got positioned. So once we saw where people needed to grab, we just put those where they needed to be. We just ordered the RV handles off of Amazon. So on the outside of the bus, it kind of looks factory, but it's not. We added in the propane cabinet. So we got 2 of the 5-gallon tanks there with the combiner valve on them. This is a 10-gallon Suburban propane water heater. This is our underbays, which was the biggest. It was a huge undertaking because I was under the bus for quite a while. But Joe had some galvanized angle iron that was perfect for the job. I wanted to just throw those toolboxes in the side, and both Joe and Chris said, no, go the distance, string those across there and have a full underbay. So we do. Now we've got a full underbay under here, and it's all insulated. So it's got 2 inches of insulation everywhere, including in the floor. And then you'll see there's one of the 45-gallon grays. There's a 45-gallon gray on each side, and there's a 100-gallon fresh in the middle of the C-frame. You can see the end of the gray going over to the other side. So the 2 gray tanks are combined so that they both fill up instead of one in the other. We took off some rub rail. There was a rub rail up here. And then if you noticed in the bedroom, there was no fender wells because we cut them off. So underneath the bus in the suspension, there's a bump stop, what they call a bump stop, and we were struggling with the fender wells in the bedroom, and the guys at the shop said you can trim the tops of them off. So we didn't cut them off completely. We trimmed them off to floor level, so the top of it's right there. And basically, with the bump stop in there, these can never hit, because the bump stop's only got like that much room and these got that much. That's all pretty much standard in there, except we replaced all the lights with LEDs. Frenched over the tailpipe so the exhaust wouldn't hit the pickup, which has proved very good because every once in a while there's a little bit of schmutz coming out of there. So that's where it used to come out. We just turned it 90 degrees and shot it out the corner of the bumper there. That's been very effective. The exhaust from the Nature's Head. This is the shore power in, 30 amp shore power in. I will show you if you want to see the fresh water in. If you're looking for one of these, look for fuel tank lids and then find one that says diesel gas and this one says water. That's how I found that one. Anyhow, super nice. When we researched what the lifestyle would be, I instantly said, look how we live now. We have different zones. I worked in one area, she worked in another. So this was the way that I figured we could get, we have basically a living room up here in the evening and a living room back there in the evening. She can watch chick flicks and I can watch how to do stuff.
We can separate if we need to, people, and
Trust me. We need to. We need to be separated.
It's called time out.
Time away. Distance between us makes coming back together so much more beautiful.
But the beautiful part that we were so blessed with is we have a really, really good friend back in Eastern Oregon, where Randy and I are from, that we went to school with, Joe Kinney, that has a full machine fabrication shop. And he's done other projects with us in our kaleidoscope career. And so Randy reached out to Joe and called him and told him, look, this is what Shelly and I are thinking about. What do you think? And you know what he said, guys? He said, sounds like a great project. How soon can you get here? And we were just like, okay, that's the missing piece that we needed. So,
well, yeah, if I could tell everybody the upper hand that I had was Joe and his main guy, Chris.
Yeah.
Joe Kinney and Chris Bowman. Those two guys are super awesome.
Yeah, they were.
Whenever I got stuck, I had multiple, there was multiple ways through the maze. It wasn't just one idea on how to fix it. It was like, we got 3 or 4 ways you could get around that.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Numerous times I'd walk in the shop and Randy and Joe would be on the floor with chalk drawing something out of how they were going to convert it. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? It looked like chalk art. And I'm like, nope, they're brainstorming. So I just walked away.
Yeah, it was such a blessing.